I'm going to show you how to tune your TK O'Brien's lap harp. It's important to keep your lap harp tuned up so that it sounds good when you play it. If it gets too far out of tune, you won't be able to recognize the song when you attempt to play it, and you may drive others out of the room if you persist. There are 3 basic ways to tune it: by ear, to a piano or keyboard, or the way I recommend, which is to use a chromatic electronic tuner. An electronic tuner makes it a simple, easy, and accurate process, and it helps you to avoid breaking strings because you're not as apt to over-tighten as you would if you tuned by ear. With an electronic tuner, you zero in on the exact pitch for each note. There are a variety of electronic tuners, and you can find inexpensive ones that will be more than adequate. Just make sure it's chromatic, giving you full-scale capacity. I've set up this demonstration using a Korg CA30. A tuner pickup is optional, and we will use it for this demonstration. It plugs into the electronic tuner and clamps onto a pin on the lap harp. The pickup is handy if you are in a noisy environment since it eliminates the microphone function of the tuner and instead picks up the vibrations from the instrument. Before we start, let's take a moment to get acquainted with the electronic tuner. After you power on the tuner, a display screen becomes visible. Most of them have a digital display. When first using your tuner, make sure the calibration is set to 440. On this Korg CA30, the calibration number is shown in the left upper corner of the display screen. So now we'll talk about the function of the electronic tuner. When an instrument sound is made, the meter will register the note name that it just heard, which is not necessarily the note that you want. Above the digital display, you will see a group of 3 lights that indicate how close to being in tune a particular note is. On the left side, you will see what looks to be a funny lowercase b. This is the flat side. And on the right side, you will see the pound symbol. This is the sharp side. Ideally, you will want the note to register on the middle light. Next, you need to be aware that some notes can be sharped or flatted, and that is a different thing from a note being on the flat or sharp side. Here is the note range of what your meter may show. TK O'Brien's lap harps are tuned to the key of G, which means that all the notes are naturals except for F, which is sharped. You can see the sharp symbol next to the F. It looks like a pound sign. Make sure when you tune all the rest of the notes that you don't inadvertently select the sharped or flatted notes on the display except for the F sharps. Our tuning card shows the notes to tune to on the left side of the card. Starting at the bottom, they are G, then A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G, which is 2 complete octaves in the key of G. If you have one of TK O'Brien's custom lap harps, the very bottom note is F sharp, then it follows the same sequence as I just explained. Besides your tuning guide and the electronic tuner, you will need a tuning wrench. Here are 3 types of wrenches. The flat one has a hole in one end and is a basic style. There is a gooseneck style and a T-handle style. The gooseneck and T-handle are easier to use than the flat one, but any of them will get the job done. Sit in a comfortable chair. Place your lap harp on a non-skid surface, as it has a tendency to slide around when you tune it. Place the tuning card under the string so you can see which string is which note. Start tuning from the bottom and work your way up the instrument. Now pluck your bottom string and quickly look at the display screen on the electronic tuner. What did the meter register? Remember, the bottom string should be G. If it registers higher than G, such as A or B, you will need to loosen the string before attempting to go further. Otherwise, you risk breaking a string. In our case, the meter showed F sharp, which means the note fell off from G down to F sharp, so we have to bring it up to G. To bring a note up, we tighten the tuning pin, and this involves a clockwise turn of the wrench. Tuning often requires clockwise and counterclockwise turns to get the right tuning. Usually it takes very slight movements to make a change in the tuning, so go very cautiously at first until you get the hang of it. After you've made the first attempt, pluck the string again and see what the meter shows now. If it's higher than G, such as G sharp or A, loosen the pin by turning it in a counterclockwise motion to back it off till you get back down to G. After you get each string in tune, go up to the next one until you have completed the entire lap harp. We'll start with the G note. A, B, C, D, E, and finally F sharp. Make sure you are tuning this note to F sharp and not F as shown on the display screen. Then recheck all the notes. Strings have a tendency to relax after you tighten them, so you may need to do a little further tightening. After you've done it a few times, it will only take 2 or 3 minutes to do the entire lap harp. You will need to tune your lap harp periodically. How frequently depends on how often you play and your playing style. Also, since temperature and humidity changes have an effect on wood, you will find that taking your lap harp in and out of warm to cool and dry to humid environments will cause you to need to retune more often.